Did you have any categories, right? Like as you were going through the testing, you're like anything that you would really look forward to, or like, oh, I cannot wait to test blank.
I really love testing shoes and bags.
That's exactly what my wife would say.
Hey, everybody, how you living? No putts given. Here we are. Tony Covey, Chris Nickel, that's me, and Harry Nodwell. Harry, you're back.
I'm
For
back
one
with a
last time.
And now you're back, but not really. This is a somber episode. This is very sad. It's melancholy. I'm going to use a lot of big words that mean sad because
I think you're all out of them already.
Oh yeah, I used them both. Never mind. Somber and melancholy, and there we are. Harry, why are we sad?
We're sad because I am leaving Mygolfspy. I am moving on to a different organization. It was a really tough decision, but it was a decision, an opportunity that I just could not pass up.
So where are you going? And well, first of all, maybe recap for some people. Like, where's Harry been? Why isn't he on No Putts Given? Tony and Chris, do you hate him? Have you, have you excommunicated him from the community? Have you? Yeah. Well, yes, but that's not why he's not on. No, where? What have you been up to? What have you been doing? And specifically, where are you going?
That was a lot of questions. Oh my
God.
I
know. So
did you take notes on that, Harry?
I think I start with the first one. I mean, I've just been doing soft goods testing throughout the year, doing a couple of labs here and there. We tried its height meters on all soft goods related, writing a little bit more. So a lot of my time was more focused on my job description. What was question 2, Chris?
Yep. See, there you go. This was part of your exit
too much
interview.
all at once.
No, this is part of your exit interview, part of your test. You failed. No, the second part is where are you going specifically, and what are you going to be doing for this company specifically?
Yeah, so I'm going to Wilson Sporting Goods as their pro equipment performance manager. So basically what that means is anything that comes out of Wilson, I will have tested it, made it hopefully better. I mean, that would be my job. Looks, feel, sound on golf clubs, soft goods as well. I'm diving into a lot as well, and making sure that they perform well. And if they perform well, then it's going to be better for the consumer, and they're going to get a better product. So yeah, it's a win. It's a great position.
What about footballs and tennis rackets?
That I won't be doing. It's all golf related. Yeah. Football. Yeah, I don't know anything. It looks like a rugby ball, so I'll get that mixed up. Tennis, I would call it badminton. Pickleball. They have so many sports under their umbrella.
But you, with a tennis racket, with a badminton racket, you don't hit a tennis ball. What do you hit?
A shuttlecock. Or yes. You call it a birdie or whatever you call it.
A birdie. We call it a birdie. So
no, it's a shuttlecock.
All right. So with Wilson, I'm assuming making sure drivers are conforming and stuff like that will be part of what you do. But diving into some of the performance stuff, like what do you? Because I mean, it wasn't that long ago. I voted Wilson off the island.
Mm-hmm. We were talking. That was not nice, Chris.
It wasn't meant to be mean or nice. It was just the reality of the golf market is such that the biggest companies, your TaylorMade, Callaway, Titleist, Ping, Mizuno, Cobra, depending where you want to cut that off, control plus or minus 90% of the market. So everybody else is vying for that other 10% more or less. And yeah, if the market expands, that 10% is a larger dollar figure. But that being said, we were making the argument like you could have some companies basically leave the industry as Nike did, or Ben Hogan recently, or fill in the blank. And really, it wouldn't make any grandiose difference to the end consumer. I made the argument that Wilson was one of those companies that could disappear from the golf industry and really, really wouldn't make a whole lot of difference.
It's not
Um,
nice, Chris.
I'm not saying it's
I
nice.
would
It's not
say,
mean. It's not
I would
what's.
say,
But now you're going to work for them, and
yeah.
so what do you see that opportunity as? So given that that's the kind of space that again, and Wilson's not the only when put Tour Edge in there, a lot of the DTC companies, etc. They're all playing for that 10%. Why Wilson?
I would say the difference between those companies do not have a close to probably $1 billion company backing them. They have a lot of sports within that brand that are part, and golf is just part of one of those sports, but they have Emir Sports that own them, and they own multiple companies, and they're investing a lot of money into the golf section because they want to expand it. I don't think any other companies like a DTC brand or a Tour Edge will be doing that or are doing that.
They don't make tennis rackets or footballs.
They don't. So exactly.
No.
So what I like about Wilson is the history that they have. I mean, they're the only brand that have won the most majors ever.
You
They were
can't have multiples of those. There can only be one most ever.
I mean, I think they've got 59 majors to the Wilson name, something like that, and no one's ever come close to that with an actual brand. I mean, back in the 1950s, Wilson was number one, and then
That was a long time ago.
I know that was a
70
long time
years
ago.
plus or minus.
Trust me, that was a
Even
long
Chris
time
and I
ago.
aren't that old.
Yeah.
Really?
No.
Fair.
But
I
they
wake
want
up in the
to.
morning, I feel like
They
it.
basically they want to get back and to not contend for the number 1, 2, or 3 because I think right now obviously that's completely out the window. But I would say in 10 years they want to compete for that potential number 5 spot in the market.
Okay, so with that was going to be kind of my follow up question: is where do you see the opportunity for Wilson? And I'll walk back the throw him off the island comment slightly in the sense that they have made some really really good products, but they've been really kind of few and far between. We've tested stuff. The golf balls have done well at times. Putters here and there.
I like
One
a
has
few of
popped
the
up.
golf balls for sure.
Yeah, there's things they've done that are really really good, and I'm not saying they're not. They're still. I mean, you still have guys on tour playing their equipment, playing their irons specifically. So there are things that they do that are exceptionally high quality and are recognized as such. But where's the opportunity moving forward if they do want to, move forward and move up the ranks, so to speak? How do they get there? Where do they go?
I mean, so that's what I've not been privy to as of yet because I haven't started yet, so I can't really answer all those questions. But
Spill all the secrets before you start working.
I don't even know the secrets. But where I can see them going is becoming more consistent, getting in the fight of doing well in a performance area. So making sure that their products perform not just for a golf ball and maybe the irons, but from the driver all the way down to the putter in the bag. Trying to make a more consistent product that consumers like the looks, like the feel, like the sound, and just like to play their products. So that's where I think they're going. They want to make incremental gains. They know they're not going to get from down wherever they are now to the number 5th spot. It's incremental gains. It's not going to be from now to Titleist like that.
Yeah.
It's just not realistic.
But I think from that outsider perspective, and that's why I wanted to kind of hear what you thought, is I'm glad you don't know the answers yet, the inside info or whatever the case is, because you've been involved on this side of it, on the testing side of it for multiple years. Where do you, from that perspective, where do you see the greatest possibility for improvement? Like if they said, hey, we want to start here, we want to start there,
fix one thing.
Yeah, fix one thing. Where do you start?
Driver. One thing, it would be the driver. Or the woods category itself. That's where I would focus the attention straight off the bat. I think their irons are good. I think they're consistent. I would like to see them be a little bit more consistent, but I think where the hole is within Wilson is the driver category.
Is that a power hole?
A power hole. It could be in the future. It could be a good power hole if you look at it a different way. But no, I think that's where there's most gains that they can get out of it is the driver and probably fairway wood and hybrid section.
Mm-hmm. What do you think are the things that Wilson does maybe really, really well from a testing perspective that you've seen from, again, testing the gear and that kind of stuff that maybe people don't know about? Maybe the stuff about the ball doing really well is really new information. Someone's going, really? Holy shit, I didn't know Wilson made a good golf ball, or really? Putters? I didn't, what are a couple highlights, things that you think that they've done really, really well at that maybe they can build on?
I would say the putters in general have done really well in testing. I can't remember, was it the L that did well in the Buckinghamshire? Or Bucktown, the Bucktown I think did well at testing. Those two did really, really well. And for the price of $100 at the time, I think it was one of the putters that you couldn't beat. A bit like the Tommy Armour Impact #1.
There were several years, and
yeah,
I think even repeating with different models sometimes. But when you start to look at the value category, the Wilson putters have done really well, especially in the blade category, if I'm recalling correctly. And the thing is, I don't want to pigeonhole it as saying, well, it's a good putter if you don't want to spend money. They were good putters. Like they would be our top value recommendation, but they'd be number 3 or number 4, number 5 overall. Sure, yeah. So right in the mix. Mm-hmm. So that, I think underappreciated, I would say for sure, that category.
I would say that is probably true, and I would say some of the irons are underappreciated. When we talk about Strixon is like a really good iron that no one really knows about. Well, back in Adam's favorite set, we got him in here at the studio, is the Wilson V3. Was it V3s?
Could have been.
I mean, FG Tour. I remember
FG Tour. Sorry, FG Tour.
The FG Tour V2.
Yeah, that's it. V2.
Adam may have the V3. The V2 that's the one that I remember.
Yeah.
But again, we've seen, especially in that kind of that crossover category where it's, I think they end up in the players category quite a bit, but it's more,
it could be
more
right
forgiving
between.
players iron, could sneak into game improvement a little bit, kind of a tweener, but really good.
Yeah, so I say there's a lot of potential at Wilson, right? There's a lot of potential to grow and get higher, and make a better product for the consumer, and hopefully, it's going to be different for me just testing product, and then seeing it from an OEM's perspective of like, all right, because at the end of the day, the OEMs are there to sell product, and make profits. So it's going to be. I'm really looking forward to learning that side of the industry, after being so involved in Mygolfspy side of the industry with the media. So it's going to be a learning curve for me, which I'm really looking forward to.
You've been, is it 5 years, 6 years? How long have you been with us?
5 years, yeah.
5 years.
5 years.
I remember your first PGA
time.
show.
I do too.
Like everybody's first PGA show was always like.
Yeah. It was my first day. Yeah.
Year 2 is like, oh, this is cool. Year 3, this is kind of cool. Year 4 is like, oh.
Well, here's the thing: year 1 and year 2. Year 1 and year 2, I went to the PGA show. 3 and 4 was COVID, so I only went to 2 PGA shows.
Okay. All right.
So it's still fresh for me. It's still new and exciting. But now
you'll be there, right?
I'll be there, and I'll be serving you guys on the other end when you guys come in. So it'll be an interesting flip-flop.
Yeah.
I mean, other guys have made that jump from media to the dark side, if you will. Johnny Wonder from WRX now.
That was gonna be on my top 5. Johnny Wonder was at WRX. He's now with Callaway.
Eric over at Titleist was Golf Week at one point, I believe.
Soderstrom, yep.
Yeah, so
I might be the third.
At least. Can't be the only one.
Yeah, at least, yeah.
Yeah.
So no, it's exciting.
I think that, like I said, I think Wilson's an interesting one. My last Wilson question is like, okay, so you have the performance part of it, which, like you're saying, you
Mm-hmm.
can feel like you can be helpful to them on to get better performing products, better performing product. Okay, cool. Let's say you get there, or you're able to. Hey, on paper, we make a driver that is in the same ballpark as the category leaders, and we might even get a staff member to right to be able to play that a la kind of what Mizuno's gone through in the last 3 to 4 years of actually getting metalwoods in the bag of their staff players. My question that is, who is a Wilson golfer? Like when I think demographically, like I have a picture for TaylorMade, Ping, Titleist, Mizuno, etc. That's part of my
Mm-hmm.
questioning around Wilson I, is it Brendan Steele? Is it Gary Woodland? Is it like I don't
I think
know
it's
who?
honestly, I think it's open to anyone, and I say that because I think you'll see a bit of a change regarding image of the Wilson brand in general. So I think it will start appealing to a lot wider audience. When they got taken over by PepsiCo back in the day, and they made it into that um, complete set, box set that you see in Dick's and Walmart, and it really just kind of destroyed a little bit of reputation that Wilson had when they were at their peak in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. So I think they're trying to not rebrand as such, but just make it different, make it more attractive to a wider range of golf and market. So I think if we can do that properly, I think you're going to see a lot more variety of where you or another consumer that maybe was a Cobra or maybe was a Titleist, which is two very polar opposites kind of images, could potentially see themselves as like a or be open to the idea of like a Wilson player.
Okay, we'll see. Right,
Yeah,
on
TBD.
TBD on all of that. Obviously, any product that Wilson comes out with in 2023, unlikely that you would have been
Mm-hmm.
a part of that. So, if
Yeah.
there is such a
We will
thing as
not hold you accountable
we'll,
yet.
Yes, yet.
the Harry Nodwell effect will not be in
In
place yet,
effect, yeah.
in effect yet for 2023. Tony, you have some questions, and I'm going to let you do that because I have something I want to go grab for Harry. I've something
Is
to
that a
Don't give
Japanese
me a
head
don't give
cover?
me a bloody head cover. Shit.
So Harry, Chris has wandered off, so we'll take a moment to talk about other people who have left Mygolfspy. Let's answer maybe the most common question asked in the YouTube comments, and that is, "Where's Amanda?"
Amanda.
Which
I
is
can't believe
actually,
this. I know.
I think it's "Where's Miranda?" Fill us in on what Miranda has been up to for the last little while.
Yeah, so Miranda is now working for Vessel Golf Bags and Vessel Bags in general. So she is the content strategist for, as well as like a bit of PR when it comes to Vessel Golf Bags and Vessel Bags as well. So yeah, she's doing all of that, helping out Vessel Golf, and she's loving it. She's doing really really well.
Chris is back. You got a Japanese head cover for us? What do we got?
No, I got something better, even better.
What's
This
better than a Jap?
this is
That's some old school stuff there. Look at that.
this is a set of Wilson irons, two iron through 9 iron with the rocket shaft.
Rocket
These,
shaft.
yeah, I'll show you a couple here.
Let's bring that back.
So
Harry, make a note of that. Bring back the rocket shaft. I don't know what it is, but we
I
need it.
really like the old school look of that box. I remember those. Yeah,
you do not. You
dude.
can't
I've
remember these. These are the
back in
Wilson
England.
staff model Dyna Power. These belonged to an LPGA player. Her name's Judy Kimball, and I'm not sure if you can
And you
see it on
stole
there.
them out of her trunk.
Yeah, no, they actually emboss her name on the leather grips.
That's cool.
She was with Wilson for a number of decades, but I think she played in over 30 U.S. Opens. Was a Wilson staff golfer for a long, long time. Very, very sweet lady. And yeah, I went into her garage, and stole a bunch of stuff from her. No, I did not do that.
You traded her a Japanese head cover for a box of
Yes.
irons from 1960 something, 70.
Yeah, give or
Any
take.
idea?
Give
What
or
is the
take somewhere
vintage?
in there. Look at that thing. 2 iron.
Now that is a blade, isn't it? Look at that.
That is a 2. I mean, you can't. This won't do it any justice. But my goodness.
That's a little bit like Ricky Fowler's irons, where there's no offset.
Yeah, that even Ricky couldn't play. The Red 33. I mean, they are just crazy.
Yeah.
But I got a bunch of her old stuff, a couple staff bags, and some of her old club shoes with Wilson.
You really did just.
How did you get this? How did you get this? Tell us.
Do you want the real story or do you want the fake
She
story?
left her garage door open one night.
Yep, exactly. No, she actually is a client of one of my good friends. He does financial advising, whatever, and she's a client of his. And her husband recently passed away. They have a ton of land up in Wyoming, and so he was going up there to help her clean stuff out or whatever. And is going through and finds there's like 3 staff bags. One of them belonged to Julius Boros. And they have like, it's all this original stuff. There actually was 2 boxes of True Temper shafts that had never been opened. And we literally cut open the tape and it was like dusty. It was crazy. But she's like, yeah, just go ahead and take all of these. I'm like, okay. And so my buddy Kyle calls me basically on the way home. He's like, hey, I got some golf stuff. You got room in your garage. Can we just, keep it there for a little bit? I'm like, yeah, that's totally fine. Well, that was like 3 years ago, and it's all still in there. And
you've been saving it just for this episode.
For
the Harry
this
Goes
moment.
to Wilson episode.
I just had an idea.
It was foretold.
It was foretold in the scriptures that Harry would be headed to a. So if you need any memorabilia, Harry, if you want something when you're there to remember me by, I would be more than happy to send you a Japanese head cover.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Dusty old Wilson golf clubs.
Yeah.
And a bag of Wilson golf clubs. So that's what I got for you. Did you ask any questions while I was gone?
I just asked where Amanda went.
Oh, yeah. Don't you love that?
Amanda.
You're like, where'd that girl go? Where'd that girl go? Oh, I liked her. I liked her so much. What
she was my favorite, that girl.
Oh, she was my favorite, Amanda.
Where'd that blonde person go?
That's not her name. Oh, yeah. She was the best. Love that. Very, very tight relationship. We don't know their name.
We've located a Miranda.
You found her?
It's covered.
Harry, what is the best and worst product you've ever tested at Mygolfspy? So in the last 5 years, when you think of the best, maybe even you can, quantify that however you want to. Best product ever tested, worst product ever tested. And I'm stalling because I can tell you're kind of thinking through this, so I'm giving you a little space to kind of.
I would say the best product, I have 2 from what I can remember. Smart salted insoles.
Oh.
When they came into the studio, I was like, holy shit. This is amazing bit of data and amazing bit of kit for the price. I think it was like 200.
200 at the time?
Yeah, so I was like, this is an absolute steal. And we tested them out, and it worked really, really well. They had a couple of issues when it came to their app, but the data that you got was really good. I would say the second bit that I was like, holy shit, is Full Swing. The graphics on Full Swing on their like top of the range model was like you're playing that course out there.
You're talking their full blown simulator, right?
Yeah, which is like
clear.
$70,000 or $80,000. It's a ridiculous amount of money, but it was like, oh my god, it was just mind blowing. Plus, you could. I mean, I remember being when I went there. It was. They said, "All right, let's go on a chipping green," and it was 80 yards around, and you could put yourself in rough, whatever. but you could literally see so many humps in the green. You could see everything that you wanted, but it didn't look like grainy stuff. This actually felt like you were on the course. It was so good. It was so clear. So those are the two that I was like.
That's
amazing.
Interesting that you say the graphics were so clear, because one of the things, I have not been to Full Swing's headquarters, but as I understand it, they have a full-blown bar there. So
I did not drink anything before that.
Okay.
So, yeah. No, it was. I'm sure you'll go here soon, and you'll probably text me and be like, "This is impressive." I'm at the bar, and it just looks so good. It won't be that. The worst product that I ever tested, and you guys, I think you were there at this point. A little device called the elevator. And that was just at Lake Nona at Tour Edge's media event. I think it was 2018, so this is my first year.
That's not nice, Harry.
That is not nice. That's not nice.
Somebody
put a lot of time into that, Harry.
You know what I could have done? I could have done the same by just putting in like a T and then bending it over.
But you didn't. And also, it should be probably called the golf kickstand, if we're just being...
Yeah. Well, whatever it was, it basically came out the end of your putter, and it came up and then just bent this way so your grip wouldn't get wet.
It was a kickstand.
Yeah, so you could just put a T and do the same thing.
It's not Arcos compatible.
No.
It's not anything compatible.
But I just remember playing with Adam, and then the guy was like putting it in, and I was like, no, I don't really... And then he ripped it. And he ripped his grip trying to take it out because it was just shredded everything. That's probably the worst invention that I've seen.
But what about at the actual facility across all of the buyer's guides you've done? The single, and I guess let's reframe this too. Limited to buyer's guides, because both of the products you mentioned were not in buyer's guide. So I want you to focus on stuff that was actually in a buyer's guide. Best and worst from within a buyer's guide.
Oh my god. Best,
or you could go to a most wanted test, because you take part and help out with those as well. So
I would say the best product in a buyer's guide is probably Personal Launch Pro or GC3. Yes, it's a lot of money, but for kind of a personal launch monitor, it's as good as a GC Quad. I mean, Tony, we went over that data and looked at it, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah, it just it doesn't do everything that the GC Quad does, but what it does do, it's filthy good. It's that's one of those. And again, like you said, it's spendy, right? But if you're gonna, although with the subscription plan, it's manageable. Like that's
it's manageable. It's just
so good,
so good.
All right, what is so bad?
So bad. I know what he wants to say, but I don't know if he will.
I would say some of the rain gear was terrible. I can't remember which one it was, but it pretty much felt like a trash bag. And you put it on. I can't remember who it was, but I remember testing this, and I was sweating inside because I tried it on inside for flexibility. And this was during the summer, and I went outside, and I literally took off after 10 minutes, and it just like shredded water, like rays coming off.
Those trash bags they sell you at amusement parks when it rains,
like a poncho kind of thing,
yes.
But thicker, and just it basically didn't let any heat go out. It just trapped it inside. So I lost like 2 pounds during that 10 minutes of just sweat,
just pure water weight,
just pure water weight. Yeah, I would say those are probably it. There's a lot of training aids that come through here. Like, I still don't know what the hell the Orange Whip does. I still don't know what it does.
Orange Whip is fantastic.
Exactly, but you think it is, and I still don't know what it does.
Everybody
it's tempo. It does everything.
Yeah.
It's for tempo. Oh, do I have one right here?
Yeah.
You know Chris. I do. I have one in my basement, obviously. I have one in my car that I take with me to the course.
I'd say that's probably the most popular training
Mm-hmm.
aid in the Mygolfspy era. Whenever we ask about training
Yeah.
aids, that's the one. It's like orange whip, orange whip, orange whip, tour striker, orange whip, lag shot, orange whip, orange whip.
Mm-hmm.
I would
Mm-hmm.
say a big one that I I helped develop at Mygolfspy testing was wet wedge. Um, is doing that was a huge eye opener of some of the ones that we were like, oh, this is a good wedge, and then you put it in wet conditions, and I'm
No,
like,
thank you.
I am spinning my driver more than this wedge in wet conditions. That was a huge eye opener, and really, it really helped Mygolfspy's wedge test bumped it up a little bit better, didn't it, Tony? So it was a good discovery. It was really good to see and a huge eye opener. Like, whew. And another eye opener would have been the ball test.
Oh God.
I wasn't there for the first one, but even the second one was still eye opening with the spin axis.
Where's that gone? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was huge. That was really cool. So I've got a lot of great experiences coming out of Mygolfspy, and it was a lot of fun to see what the hell happened at some of these products that you never even heard of, and see that they perform pretty good.
Did you have any categories here, like as you were going through the testing, like anything that you would really look forward to? You're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I cannot wait to test blank, and then the other side of it too, are like, oh man, shit, here we go. We've got
Yes,
this is going to be kind of a grind. Like, what did you really love to test? Look forward to testing.
I really love testing shoes and bags.
That's exactly what my wife would say.
Here's the thing, right? So every year there's normally a new the whole category is pretty much brand new. I would say 75% of it is new styles, and
Yeah.
bags is pretty similar. Did it take me 3 days to test shoes and 3 days to test bags? Yeah, it was a long time. It was very strenuous, but you get to see a lot of different looks, and you get to see a lot of shoes that you think is good, and it's just terrible. Actually, thinking about terrible is the Nike Infinity Tours. They were just terrible.
Anything with a Jordan logo for golf.
No. Those are fantastic. And I'm still convinced, Harry, the reason you like the shoes and the bags is because they're the categories that lend themselves most to a description of supple.
Well, don't forget gloves.
Gloves.
The gloves are
Yeah,
Oh, the gloves. Yeah, I suppose.
Supple.
I suppose the gloves.
Supple.
Supple gloves.
So I look forward to those two categories. The least one I look forward to, what do you think it is?
Rain gear's got to be kind of meh.
It was but
I know you love ball retrievers. Umbrellas. How about umbrellas?
no, that didn't bother me.
Let's see.
Personal launch monitors. I'm just going to start guessing everything.
Ball retrievers are life-saving devices.
See, I'd say personal launch monitors.
Mm-hmm.
That's...
Personal launch monitors. I had a love-hate relationship with personal launch monitors.
That's a tough one.
I love them because, hey, this is really impactful for the consumer, and you have to get it right. And you got to see which is good, which is bad, which is ugly. But I've never been so tired after a test in my life. Because you're testing a pitcher wedge 7 and driver. I think we got maybe 10 or 11 different personal launch monitors inside and outside. And then once I get the data, then I've got to manually input it into the algorithm. And then we've got to find out the standard deviations of this and the average of this, of how much it is off against a GC quad. Now, I'm not just testing the one, I'm testing against GC quad.
Right.
And that's if it all worked perfectly. Now, if it doesn't pick up a head data, or one shot is missed on one device, I have to raise that and then make sure it's 1-to-1, because otherwise the data is irrelevant. So that took me about 2 weeks to test, and about a good half a week just going over the data and making sure it was good, clean, and easy to digest for the consumer. That was a pain in the ass, for sure.
Very tedious. Yeah, I wonder if
Yeah.
if people really knew, like if we just had the live stream camera going, watching Harry test equipment, go, ooh.
Like we did for the ball test. Let's put that on a tee and let the robot hit it. Okay, let's do that again. Let's do that again.
So that was my worst one. That's my worst one.
Yeah.
The most fun one I've done is speakers. Speakers is the most fun test that I've ever done. One, you get to listen to music. But two, you get to see the comments that come through. It's just great.
We should give off a special award for the speaker that pisses off people the most.
Yeah,
omnidirectional, unidirectional, Harry directional, whatever. Yeah, we gotta
fire up the rage machine for speakers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
no doubt. Well, I'm excited to see what you can do to help out Wilson, keep him on the island, Harry. See if I vote him off again in a year or not. But we'll kind of go from there. Tony, any last questions? Final thoughts, hopes, dreams, jokes?
No, we found Amanda, so that was for me. Like that's the key to this episode.
Found Amanda. I got a Japanese head cover on the way. I got some Wilson staff goodies for you, Harry, to get you there. But wish you the best of luck and yeah, thanks for coming on, man.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, like I said, it was a hard decision leaving Mygolfspy just because I loved the job, loved everything. But I'm really looking forward to seeing the other side of the industry and hopefully influencing Wilson and hopefully see an uptick in performance and see what the future holds.
I love it. Well, if nothing else, we'll see you at the show. If Tony ends up going this year or talks his way out of it, I will see you there. That's Tony Covey, Golfspy T, Chris Nickel, Golfspy C. Find us on the interwebs. As always, comment. Let us know what you think. What you think about Harry here? Sound off, good, bad, otherwise. Just let us know what you think about Harry. And until then, Tony, we out.
We out. Bye, Harry.